Hello and welcome to another episode of today's 𝐤𝐬 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬, and in this segment we are going to discuss about objective questions from daily current affairs. Let's look at the previous day's practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Somnath temple. It is also known as the Deopatan. The present temple was reconstructed in the Chalukya style of Hindu temple architecture and completed in May 1951. We have to select the correct statement. So, Somnath temple invaded time and again. It is said 17 times and has been standing still in front of our eyes, and it was in the present form was reconstructed at the by the Chalukya style of the Hindu temple architecture, and it was completed in May 1951. And also it is known as the Deopatan. So both these statements are correct. The correct answer to this question is option C. Inaugurating the various development projects at the Somnath temple complex in Gujarat, the Prime Minister said that this temple was broken many times and effort was made to erase its existence in the history, but every time it got raised. Somnath temple, also known as the Deopatan, is located in Saurashtra on the western coast of Gujarat, India. It is believed to be the first among the 12 Jyotirlingas, shrines of Shiva. It is an important pilgrimage and tourist spot of Gujarat, reconstructed several times in the past after repeated destruction by several invaders and rulers. The present temple was reconstructed in the Chalukya style of Hindu temple architecture and completed in May 1951. Consider the following statements regarding Adopt a Heritage program. It is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, Archaeological Survey of India, and state and union territory governments. It is aiming to involve public sector companies, private sector companies, and corporate citizens or individuals to take up the responsibility for making our heritage and tourism more sustainable. We have to select the correct statement. Yes, it aims to involve public and private sector companies, both. Also includes corporates and individuals as well for making our heritage and tourism more sustainable. Sustainable in the sense that it should be environment friendly as well. And it is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, Archaeological Survey of India, also involves the respective state and union territory governments. So both of them being correct, the correct answer is option C. Recently, the 𝐸𝐸𝐿 temple in Uttarakhand's Rudraprayag district is set to get a major facelift. The site was identified under the Centre's Adopt a Heritage project earlier this year. And we have discussed the first statement, so we shall move forward. Also, the project aims to develop synergy among all partners to effectively promote responsible tourism. We have discussed the second statement as well. Moving on, it is to be done through the development, operation and maintenance of world-class tourist infrastructure and amenities at ASI, state heritage sites and other important tourist sites in India. That means it should be developed in such a manner that it is friendly to those who are disabled and specially challenged as well. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding hydrofluorocarbons. The Kigali Amendment aims for the phase down of hydrofluorocarbons by cutting their production and consumption, and given their zero impact on the depletion of ozone layer, HFCs are currently used as a replacement of hydrofluorocarbons and chlorofluorocarbons in the air conditioning, refrigeration and foam insulation. However, they are powerful greenhouse gases. We have to select the correct statement. Recently, India has ratified the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol, and it actually wants to phase down the consumption and manufacture of hydrofluorocarbons, which are actually used as a substitute for chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, which had the global warming potential as they sustained themselves for a very long period of time, as much as 100 years. So, both these statements are actually correct. The correct answer to this question is option C, both 1 and 2. Recently, the Union government approved the ratification of the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on phasing down of climate change refrigerant hydrofluorocarbons. So, yesterday also, and whenever I covered the in-news series, there I told you the meaning of ratification of a treaty. Signing that means to imply, showing an intention that we are ready to imply with these details and agreements. But ratification means that a proper legal premise is set or an act is made for making that treaty to come into effect. That is called ratification. Okay, and it comes close to the heels of similar decisions by the US and China, and that were the world's largest producer and consumers of HFCs. 122 countries had ratified the Kigali Amendment by the end of July 2021. The Kigali Amendment aims for the phasing down of hydrofluorocarbons by cutting their production and consumption. The goal is to achieve over 80% reduction in HFC consumption by 2047. Given their zero impact on the depletion of ozone layer, however, their impact is negligible, but still they are very potent greenhouse gases, which actually leads to climate change. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding government securities acquisition program. The G-SAP acquisition program is basically an unconditional and a structured open market operation of a much larger scale and size. It aims to achieve a stable and orderly evolution of the yield curve along with management of liquidity in the economy. By purchasing G-SAPs, the RBI infuses money supply into the economy, which in turn keeps the yield down and lower the borrowing cost of the government. So we have to select the correct statement. Yes, the G-SAP acquisition program, it is an unconditional and structured open market operation of a larger scale. Open market operation, that means purchasing and selling of government securities. That is open market operation. It aims to achieve stable and orderly evolution of the yield curve along with management of liquidity in the economy. This is also correct. And by purchasing the G-SAP, the RBI infuses money. How? Whenever, suppose I am the RBI, I am purchasing G-SAP. What am I doing? I am purchasing it, but I am also spending money. So there will be more liquidity, more money in the market. And that is more money supply into the economy, which in turn keeps the yield down and lower the borrowing cost of the government. All of them being correct, the correct answer is option D. Recently, the Reserve Bank of India has announced that it will conduct an open market purchase of government securities of rupees 25,000 crore under the G-SAP acquisition program. We have discussed the first statement, so we shall move forward, and also the second one. The significance is such that the government will mainly benefit from the G-SAP. By purchasing G-SAP, the RBI infuses money and that in turn keeps the yield down and lower the borrowing cost of the government. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding iDEX. It is an initiative by the government to contribute towards modernization of the defense industry. It aims to promote innovation and technology development in defense and aerospace by engaging industries with particular focus on MSMEs, startups, individual innovators, R&D institutes, and academia. It will be funded by the Defense Innovation Organization and DRDO, and it will function, DRDO will function as the executive arm of DIO. So we have to, of course, select the correct statement. C. It is an initiative by the government to contribute towards modernization of the defense industry, as the potential challenge is now we have a very huge security challenge, especially with respect to the nexus of China, Pakistan and the Taliban in Afghanistan. So the first statement is correct. It wants to modernize and modernize basically the defense sector, and we also want to, not through this, but we want to indigenize so that we can become an Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defense sector as well. And it aims to promote innovation and technology. Yes, here you can see innovation and technology. That means innovate in India, give more boost to startups. And technology should be developed such that we do not have to depend on any country. Also, by engaging the industries with particular focus on MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, startups, individual innovators, RD, and academia. Second is correct. First is correct. It will be funded by Defense Innovation Organization and will function as the executive arm of DIO, but not DRDO. DRDO is not funding it. So, the first, second being correct, the third being incorrect, the correct answer to this question is option A, 1 and 2 only. Moving on, recently the Defense Minister launched the 5th edition of the Defense India Startup Challenge under Innovation for Defense and Excellence, Defense Innovation Organization. The iDEX is an initiative by the Government of India to contribute towards modernization of the defense industry, launched in 2018. It aims to promote innovation. We have discussed this. And yes, we have discussed the next statement, so we shall move forward. Consider the following statements regarding Moplah Rebellion. The Moplahs were the Muslim tenants inhabiting the Malabar region where most of the landlords were Hindus. Their grievances centered around lack of security of tenure, high rents, renewal fee and other oppressive exactions. The Moplah movement merged with the ongoing Khilafat agitation. We have to select the correct statement. Moplah Rebellion or Malabar Rebellion, which started in the year 1921. Yes, the third statement is correct. This merged with the ongoing Khilafat agitation, and the Moplahs were Muslim tenants which were inhabiting the Malabar region, and most of the landlords were Hindus. Okay, and the grievances centered around any lack of security of tenure. The tenants which were actually putting their sweat and blood into the yielding of crops, there were no security of tenure for them, and high rents and renewal fees and other oppressive exactions. So all of them being correct, the correct answer is option D. Recently, a political leader claimed that the Moplah Rebellion, also known as the Moplah riots of 1921, was the first manifestations of the Taliban mindset in India. The Moplahs were the Muslim tenants inhabiting the Malabar region, where most of the landlords were Hindus. And we have discussed these two statements, so we shall move forward. Consider the following statements with respect to Onam. Onam is a major harvest festival in Kerala. It is celebrated during the month of Chingam, that is the last month in the Malayalam calendar, 𝐏𝐤𝐬. Forgive me if I am saying this word incorrectly. Okay, so we have to select the correct statement. Onam is, yes, the major harvest festival, and it is celebrated during the month of Chingam, that is the first month, not the last month, first month in the Malayalam calendar, 𝐏𝐤𝐬. Okay, so the second is incorrect, the first is correct. The correct answer to this question is option A1 only. Onam, the 10-day long festival, is being celebrated from August 12th this year. But the actual festival, which is widely celebrated in Kerala, will start with Thiruvonam on August 21st. It's a major harvest festival in Kerala. The other two major festivals of the state are Vishu and Thiruvathira. It is celebrated, the Onam is celebrated to honor the homecoming of Asura king Mahabali, who brought about peace and prosperity in Kerala. And we have discussed the second statement, so we shall move forward. Consider the following with respect to desertification. The Delhi Declaration of 2020, signed by the 14th COP of the UNCCD, called for better access and stewardship over land and emphasized gender-sensitive transformative projects. The National Action Program for Combating Desertification was prepared in 2010 to take appropriate action in addressing the problems of desertification. We have to select the incorrect statement. The Delhi Declaration was signed in the year 2019 for desertification and not 2020. So the first statement is incorrect. And we had our National Plan Action Program for combating desertification as early as 2001. So the first and the second, both these are incorrect. Okay, so the correct answer should be option C, both 1 and 2. The findings of a new document prepared by the Indian Space Research Organization have revealed 97.85 million hectares of India's total geographical area to undergo land degradation during the years of 2018 to 19. This is according to the Desertification and Land Degradation Atlas of India. Land degradation is basically caused by multiple forces, including extreme weather condition, particularly drought. And land degradation is exaggerated by anthropogenic activities. Desertification is a consequence of severe land degradation. That means land is degrading day by day, and when it is permanently deranged, it is known as desertification and is defined as the process that creates arid, semi-arid and dry subhumid areas. The Delhi Declaration of 2019, signed by 14th COP of the UNCCD, called for better access and stewardship over land and emphasized gender-sensitive transformative projects. The National Action Program for Combating Desertification was prepared in 2001 to take appropriate action in addressing the problems of desertification. Moving on, Tigray region seen in the news lately is a conflict in which of the following countries? Armenia, Azerbaijan, Ethiopia, Rwanda. The correct answer to this question is option C, that is Ethiopia. The US International Development Agency has blamed the Ethiopian government for shortage of humanitarian aid in the country's conflict-torn Tigray region. The Tigray War is an ongoing armed conflict that began in November 2020 in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, and the war has spawned massacres, gang rapes, and the widespread expulsion of people from their homes, and the United States has declared ethnic cleansing in Western Tigray. Now, on top of those atrocities, Tigrayans face another urgent problem, that is hunger and starvation. As we can see, this region, the red area, is the Tigray region lying between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Okay, let's move forward and talk about the next question. Consider the following statements with regard to ZyCoV-D vaccine. It has been developed indigenously by Zydus Cadila in Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology. It is the world's second DNA vaccine and it is a 3-dose vaccine. We have to select the correct statement. So, ZyCoV-D is an indigenously developed world's first DNA vaccine. Here it is written second. It's world first DNA vaccine. And it is a 3-dose vaccine with a gap of 28 days between each vaccine. And it has been developed indigenously by ZyCoV-D, an Ahmedabad-based company, and Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology. Okay. So, the first and the third being correct, the correct answer is option B. ZyCoV-D has received approval for emergency use authorization from the Drug Controller General of India for ZyCoV-D vaccine. It is the world's first DNA-based vaccine for COVID-19 to be administered in humans, including children and adults 12 years and above. It has been developed indigenously by Ahmedabad-based ZyCoV-D in partnership with the Department of Biotechnology under the Mission 𝐠𝐤𝐻 and implemented by BRAC, that is Biotechnology Industry Research Analysis Council. This 3-dose vaccine has 28 days of gap between the first, second and third dose. Mission Shakti, which focuses on the safety of women in their rural areas, belongs to which of the following states? It belongs to the state of Uttar Pradesh. This mission and Uttar Pradesh will commence the third phase of Mission Shakti today that focuses on safety of women in rural areas. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Governor of the state and Union Finance Minister were a part of the event to be held at Indira Gandhi Pratishthan in Lucknow at 10:30 am today. Moving on to the practice question, consider the following statements with respect to Geological Survey of India. It was set up in 1851 primarily to find coal deposits for the railways. The main function of the GSI relates to creation and update of national geoscientific information and mineral resource assessment. It is headquartered in Kolkata and is an attached office of the Ministry of Archaeology. We have to select the correct statement. So, I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.